All right. Thank you once again for joining through. It's been a Whitney Houston day today, so it was just a continuation of what we were listening to here in the office. Some slow music just to start us off before we continue. So welcome very much. My name is Vicky Karuga, here to tell you more about CrossKnowledge, the digital learning preferred partner, and to tell you what it is that we have in store, what it does, why you should be selecting the CrossKnowledge platform as your preferred digital learning partner. So I want to know from the chat if at the moment, wherever you are, you have access to any digital learning platform. And maybe what that platform is. Is it Coursera, which is an e-learning content provider? Is it LinkedIn Learning? Is it Pacifico, I think. Or if you just want to say which one are you using, or which platform, or are you using a platform? Let me make it simple. Are you using a platform? Let me hear from you. Let me see from the chats. Okay, feel free to put it in the chat. I want to see how many people who are logged on today are using digital learning platforms to further their studies of their knowledge acquisition or skill development. I can't believe there's not a single person. There must be one, at least one. Or I'm sure all of you. Maybe you, okay. Okay then. If none is using a platform, then I will present what CrossKnowledge is and also get into why you should actually be considering using a digital learning platform. So I'll get right into it. And Liz, please let me know when you see my slides. Just give me a minute. Where is it? Oops.
Yeah, the screen is visible.
Yeah,
but
I'm stuck.
Okay.
I don't know. This laptop now this just gets stuck. No, sorry about that. Okay, I think we are unstuck. Okay, trying to get there, but not getting there. Let me stop share and try again. Share. Push onto the screen, share. Let's see if I get this right this time around. Great. I think that's what I want. So now you can see my screen. Liz, you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see it and we can see the presentation.
Wonderful. Good. So I am going to be presenting to you about CrossKnowledge, but a little bit about Profiles International and what we do. We are an organization that works with companies and people to manage people, so basically to manage talent. And we do this through various things. One, we assist in recruitment through our psychometric assessments. So we really provide additional data around people. Who are they when they come to work with you? To provide a breadth of psychometric assessments to help you make better decisions about your people. We also provide for organizations training programs that work for either middle management or senior management. That's our sweet spot. We provide support to culture change. We also provide coaching and mentoring in the area of emotional intelligence. But today, I'm here to tell you about CrossKnowledge, our latest addition to the Profiles family. And here we're going to talk about what it is and what it has. So we have worked with various organizations. These are but a few. So we've worked with KCB, we've worked with CDI, we've worked with ICEA, Lion, we've worked with KRA, we've worked with African Union. We are still in partnership with the Kenya School of Government. So we've worked with various groups, various organizations within the breadth of the work that we do. But today, let me focus on CrossKnowledge, our digital learning platform. And as Profiles International, we are the authorized partner for the region. And what that means is that we represent them in this region when it comes to providing the services of digital learning. So why CrossKnowledge, you might ask, or why digital learning? There's a very simple reason why we go digital. But before I even share why we go digital, let me share a little bit more about CrossKnowledge. CrossKnowledge is an organization that focuses on upskilling and skill development. And the areas that it chooses to focus on is what we call human and leadership skill sets. We all know that the future of work really is applauding the growth of human skills, or of the soft skills, as we used to call them, and seeing them as where the future lies when it comes to working together. So CrossKnowledge content is really focused on that particular skill set. The second thing is CrossKnowledge also understands that not every business is the same. So we provide a platform that allows you to contextualize the learning that we have built to your business needs. And we really sit down with you to understand your business objectives. Now, what does this mean? It means that sometimes it may not only be soft skills that you want to develop. You want people to also understand things around compliance. You want people to understand things around policy. So you can also use the CrossKnowledge platform to develop those courses and have people take them in a structured manner where they can have assessments and they can also be tracked for, whether they've taken the assessment or not. And the third thing about CrossKnowledge is that it is scalable. We are available on mobile, on tablet, on desktop, on laptop, and we are available in several languages, so you can span the region if you want to. We are known for our quality content. We only publish content from a specific faculty. And in fact, we look for internationally recognized thought leaders. We are known for proven technology. We have the right tools, analytics, and APIs. We can integrate with almost any system. And we're very flexible in terms of deploying your learning needs. And we are also known for our learning experts. We have a hub where you, as a learning and development professional, can sit down and learn more about instructional design and see how you can deploy and integrate your flair, your creative flair, and your content into the digital learning academy that you have. So why go digital? That's the first question. Digital helps answer this question that 45% of CEOs put forward. And they said they believe that their companies won't exist in 10 years if they stay on their current path. And this was pointing out to just the sheer need for upskilling that we have in the world today. If you look at this side, our skill gaps are changing. Now we have AI. When this AI comes out, the next one comes out. We have to learn the skill of doing things differently and thinking differently. We have shorter shelf life of skills. We're seeing ourselves, the way we tackle issues being different. So how can you look for a way of learning or of ensuring that the learning in your organization stays sharp? It's by being able to provide a platform that can keep up and be agile with this particular way of thinking and of understanding of what is happening in the world. The second reason is that for a long time, we are not able to really tangibly prove the effects or the outcomes of our L&D initiatives. So how do you prove the impact of learning and development? And what we're trying to do at CrossKnowledge is to put learning and development in human resource as a data center. So in our dashboards, we are able to say, these are the skills that look most in demand. These are the people who are skilled in this manner. This is a JD that we fed into the system, and having fed that job description into the system, then the CrossKnowledge is able to give back to the person a tailored work plan or learning path that they can then take. And the third thing is we have manager anxiety. So we find that managers need to be together with their teams. So if we have initiatives that are fed from learning and development, ownership is not taken at the team level. So CrossKnowledge really puts the manager at the center of how learning is deployed. And the manager becomes a facilitator at the back end, is able to assess learners and put that information in the system, as well as being able to recommend courses where they see gaps. And so this manages manager anxiety about the ability of his team or her team, and therefore makes for more engaged teams and team members. And then the last but not least is about retention and engagement. Studies show that people stay where they feel that they are growing. So here, you're not only impacting on your employees' productivity because they are getting better at what they're doing, you're also impacting on behavior change. So all these things are a focus for us at CrossKnowledge, because we know you need your people to learn and acquire new behaviors and skills to get the job well done. So we then want to elevate your employee learning experience. In fact, we see learners as our clients. So we want to make sure that what they're learning is aligned to the needs of today's workforce. So whatever you identify as necessary for your strategy, then you are able to deploy that into the system. And this makes learning more rewarding and more engaging and more relevant to whatever it is people are doing. The fact that we can involve cohorts of peers and bring them together in a learning path or journey means that there will be diverse opinions and sharing of understanding, which then brings better solutions to real world problems, as you will see later on. It helps build better culture and relationships because of the shared learning that brings employees together. And then last but not least, of course, digital learning saves you time and money. This is learning that can be encountered anywhere in the world, and it is delivered the way that you want it without compromising the power of collaborative learning. So what's the first feature you find when you decide to go with CrossKnowledge? The first one, of course, is different formats. So we have the first format that I will share with you is that we have the capability of designing and deploying self-paced programs. So this means that I can log in January, Liz can log in February, I can decide to take the course, Dennis can decide to take the course in June. It doesn't matter. The thing is, the power to take the course is in my hands. And we can also deploy cohort-based programs. So these cohort-based programs means that there is a definite start and a definite end to that particular program. Say, for example, you've just hired graduate management trainees, and you want them to go through a robust program that speaks to your culture, to the work that they've come to do, makes them understand the policies as they are and sign off on them, makes them understand the people and the departments that they're working on. So you'll find that you can create a 6-month cohort learning path where when the graduate management trainees check in, that is their onboarding digital learning journey. So they go together as a group and they can then be able to learn together, share together. And at the same time, because they're not all going to be domiciled in the same place, there are some who will be in sales, there are some who will be in marketing, there are some who will be in administration, human resource and finance. And all those can then have different other programs that are self-paced that help them be able to upskill. Then we have different formats. We have, of course, the cohort-based programs I've talked about. We have the self-paced programs, and then we have the micro-learning. And these are just small bits of information that you get, for example, short videos or PDFs that you can download. So what does this mean? It means that you can build the right experiences for the right audience. So for the individual who's working in an office and they understand their gaps, they understand, for example, that I am not very good at closing a sale, they can go to the platform and they can then pick a course for themselves that can be approved by the manager that speaks to closing a sale. And this is me as an individual. For the teams can come together and decide, we think that critical thinking is important to us as a skill. And so they can then take a program and develop it as a cohort-based programs where there's a start date and an end date. And this means that the teams are focusing on one course which is relevant to them, and it brings them together and helps them collaborate better. For cohorts, like what I shared about graduate management trainees, or even sales trainees, or even marketing professionals who've just joined, or even you've just, you've gotten executive assistant on board, and you need him or her to go through a certain course with several other persons to understand what that role means. So you have the ability to do that. And then delivering at scale for the organization. You've just done new values, or you want people to understand what values your organization stands for. For example, at Profiles here, we talk about our values being quality, Ubuntu, excellence. And therefore, we can deploy at Profiles here an organizational-wide training that just focuses us back on why we exist and why we do the things we do, even if it's just for 3 months before we go back into our usual learning. And so this means you are not just deploying content, you're being very strategic at how you deliver it. We also have different formats that we utilize. And these different formats are meant to engage different people in different ways. Some people will like watching videos. Others want to download a PDF. Others want to go in and have an interactive learning resource where they can drag and drop something, and that's how they learn. So all these things are available to reinforce these the content or the skills that people are learning. We then have social activities, open questions, forums where people can share, leaderboards that foster that communityness in the digital learning platform. And then we have a host of evaluation activities for facilitators. That means having assignments or quizzes to measure progress. For example, if you're doing a compliance course that you've developed, then people are able to take quizzes to see where they are. And if you don't get a minimum grade of 80%, then there's something you're missing. We're able to have an assessment from the managers. We're able to develop action points, and we're able to have end of course surveys that help us improve on our learnings. Why choose CrossKnowledge? The second reason is because of our level of customization. More than anything, one of the biggest advantages of having CrossKnowledge as a platform is its ability to customize. First, its ability to customize on two very basic pillars: unstructured content vis-a-vis structured content. And this one is in all digital learning platforms. You have the macro learning, you have the micro learning. On top of that, being able to deliver the right learning to the right learner. So are they at novice level? Are they quite capable? Are they experts, so that they can come onto the platform as facilitators? What about brand, you say? We are able to brand the CrossKnowledge platform, not just the overall platform when a learner checks in, but even right down to the departments. If your sales department, if you have a sales department, you have a marketing department, you can have academies that look totally different from each other and still be in the same digital learning academy. So that means that for me and my team, we feel like we own our learning academy because it looks and feels like us. It has the people inside it are us. The leaderboards that are shared are us. So again, going back to fostering teamwork. And this is just an example. This is Client Care Academy, focus on CX. And in here are just courses about client experience. How can you ensure that your client is getting or understanding that they're being taken care of? How do you make them feel like they're a star, an MVP? And so this client academy would only be open for CX professionals. So really customization towards brand and the look and feel, not just for the company, but also for the various departments and the various teams. Our capability to academies, our ability to then even go further and develop capability academies for you. For example, you can have a leadership academy going where you enroll any person who has been earmarked for promotion or succession. You can have mentoring and coaching academy. You can have master's videos or whatever it is. You're able to really put down different entities when it comes to the platform. You're also able to embed it in your existing people process. So when you get a new hire, you have a pre-boarding academy where everyone goes on board before they even check into the organization, where they learn about the company. And then after that, we have the onboarding academy where they learn when they're in the on the role. And once they're done with that and they've been confirmed, then they move into one of the other talent academies that are there, preparing them now to be in either the next role or preparing them to just be effective in what they're doing. You can have different learning journeys. This is an example of a learning journey created for customer service moment. So this is a learning journey that is self-paced. You can just see it just has weeks and it has topics, but we have journeys that then have face-to-face live sessions coupled with online learning sessions, which is an example of a facilitated journey, which is a hybrid experience. So we have the ability to create and customize your learning. Then we have world-class content. We only publish content from the Thinkers 50 group. And these are from Amy Edmondson, who is known for her book on psychological safety, Dr. Marshall Goldsmith, who's known for business, Brian Spisak, who's known for AI. And locally, we also have courses brought to you by experts like Mary Mukindia on executive repositioning. We also have Derek Banga on branding yourself for success. We have data courses. We have courses on professionals in various industries. And this means that then we bring robust content to you. We are an award-winning platform. And even last year, for the 14th consecutive year, we won or we were placed at one of the world's top learning management system companies. And we continue as CrossKnowledge to be dedicated to the innovation around growing and innovating around our learning management system. So this is just the digital learning solutions and the medals that we've gotten over the years, just to tell you that you are in good hands when you choose CrossKnowledge. Scalability, we have, as I said, you can access content on your mobile app using My Learning app. You can access it on a tablet. You can access it on a desktop. You can also be able to measure and get so many reports. And this is something that Dennis is going to take us through afterwards, from anywhere and from any part of the world. So whether you have 10 people, or whether you have 100 people, or whether you have 200 people, it doesn't matter. The system is able to give you reports for all those people, right down to the granular location that you're looking at. What about integration? We have the ability to integrate with almost any HRIS that we have out there. And these are just some of the examples of the integration into ecosystems that already exist. So if you're having Cornerstone as one of your HRIS or SAP SuccessFactors or Oracle or Workday, and I know that this particular applications, not applications, but ERPs, or so to speak, come with a small module in terms of learning and LMS. So you're able to integrate with the systems seamlessly, and you're able to then even export that data into that system should you want to do it. So we're also able to integrate our data with various data, what would I call it, apps, or not even data apps, but various ways of presenting and working and showing, analyzing data. Virtual classrooms, whether it's Zoom or Microsoft, we're able to do that as well. And then we're also able to integrate with third-party content. We have Coursera as our business partner in case the content we have internally is not enough. We also work with LinkedIn Learning, and we work with several other content providers as well, and we can integrate seamlessly. What about you as a learning professional? We have the CrossKnowledge Learning Hub. And here, this is something dedicated to just learning and development professionals to upskill you to become an industry leading facilitator of digital learning. So we upskill you for pedagogy. How do you develop, or rather have a framework that develops courses that will appeal to the learner, will engage the learner, will, make sure that all the aspects of learning are covered. So how do you do that? So we have a whole academy that is focused on just upskilling you as a learning development professional on how to be an effective digital learning technologist or even an instructional designer. We're able to help you with quick deployment because our system is easy to use. And we are able to also assist you to understand how do you grab attentions of the learners through our learner marketing program. So we work with you to really understand what your needs are. We empower you through the CK Academy, as I said, dedicated to you as a learning development and learning and development professional. You have 24/7 support globally, and locally you have support within all working hours. You have access to experts, whether it's integration, learner marketing, learning design, or even project management. And you have an account manager dedicated to you. So we have also noticed that we need to involve the manager when it comes to digital learning. And this comes from statistics that have come through when we've run several questionnaires. And this has found that a lot of digital learning, the impact is diluted because, one, there's no proper guidance on what people should learn. They have this sea of information and they get lost in it. So at CrossKnowledge, we are really saying that does not work anymore. Secondly, most employees will only follow training to be positively seen by their manager. So if the manager is not involved, then they'll just be ticking a box. But if the manager is involved, is able to rate them and assess them, then it becomes different because they have to demonstrate that they have learned the skill. And then when you have unfocused learning consumption, we're not focusing on this particular skill set, we have access to everything, then you just get diluted impact on learning. So we find that for us, this particular area here that is highlighted, measure your progress and assessment, those two are dedicated to managers of teams. Managers of teams are able to go into the system, set metrics that they wish to see, for example, behavior change that they want to see. If I am in a sales team and my manager notices that my communication is lacking, or the way that I am managing my key client accounts is lacking, they can go in and look for a course for client management for me. And with looking for that course, they can trigger an assessment where they can assess me for my behavior change. Am I possibly making more phone calls to the clients because I've realized that's important? Is the way that I speak, am I asking more questions when I meet clients rather than presenting to them what we have? And so that rating becomes important because, as we know through learning, behavior change is what we want to see. So the manager is really checking for behavior change. The other thing is dashboards. We have the ability to give you a lot of dashboards for creating your courses, dashboards for administrating your learners, and then dashboards for tracking and reporting on performance. And these are all easy to use in the CK back office and very convenient for the L&D experience. You just have to click 2, 3 buttons and then you have the information that you need. We are also very innovative, and here I want to share 2 things. The first one is in our platform, we do support or provide spaces for practice. So we have coaching avatars powered by AI. Say I'm taking a course on communication. At the end of that course, I do have the ability to create an avatar that can be used by my learners for them to understand, be able to have a safe space where they can see whatever it is that they're learning. Are they practicing it? Say, for example, I am an insurance company and the way that I present products has been wanting. So I go through a short course designed by my company to teach me about the products and how to sell them. But then I can't just go practicing it everywhere. Everyone is busy. So I design an avatar inside of the platform, and this avatar is able to practice with me. Am I saying the right things? Am I asking the right questions? And they give me feedback. So avatars are one way of us to learn and practice and grow in the platform, whether it's in management, human resources, sales and negotiation. I can have an avatar that acts as my teacher and shares information. All I have to do is ask a question. So, and it will then be able to, through its AI, it's all these are artificially engineered. They are able to listen to me and be able to give me answers to questions that I don't know. And then we have the trainer, which simulates realistic scenarios where you apply skills safely. So, for example, I have a boss who is very difficult to manage, and I can feed all these scenarios into this trainer, and it then allows me to have a conversation with my boss avatar and see whether which scenario would best work out for me. Then we have coaches that allow us to have reflection. So that's just one of the innovations. And then the second one is we have what we call Capable CK. Capable CK is basically a platform that focuses on moving away from being content-led as a platform to being AI-led. So when I get into the platform is able to give me content based on my needs, what I've been doing, my job description. So I can feed my job description into the system and it will recommend courses for me, and so on and so forth. And even for that, I think I did want to share some more content on the World Wide Web. So this is what it looks like in the system itself. If it would just give me a moment. I think it's tired. There we go. Let's hope it comes through. Yes. So this is the CrossKnowledge platform. And the CrossKnowledge platform here where I am is the demo platform for coaching. So am I ready to practice, to learn and to grow, Vicky? And I can choose what I learn. So we live through the mantra that I learn a skill, then I practice and become able. And when I practice and I become able and I become confident, then I do. And then we can all do together. So whether it's human resources, whether it's communicating benefits and policy changes course, I can have an avatar to practice that. Whether it's strengthening negotiation and consultative selling, whether it's my professional development, how do I build professional relationships? So we have little avatars for all these things, and what they do is just provide role play. And I think what I had done is at a previous webinar, I had actually just gone through with the persons who had attended on how this experience looks like. For example, for a course about constructive feedback. And this is just a path where we say we're looking for constructive feedback. And in this avatar, you are able to give information to the avatar about what it is that you want to see. And with that information, then you're able to generate multiple kinds of scenarios and it's able to read that back to you. So that's just the avatar. I was talking about Capable, which is powered, which is what we call our powered by AI solution. So with Capable, you're able to build, so transform, enable organization through long-term capability development. And we know that even when a business identifies a skill as a true need for its the fulfillment of something strategic, it doesn't take a day for that skill to be built. It possibly takes not less than a year. So how do you develop that? How do you design that year so that when learners are going through that process for that year, it is reinforcing what you want to see as a skill? So really leading to true transformation. And then building guided paths, interactive paths that then become courses that are impactful, using proven technology, proven pedagogy, enriching with the activities and so on and so forth. And then also when people have the ability to self-explore, how do you guide them by making sure that they have the use of AI in terms of being able to get the right courses recommended for them. So that is CK in a nutshell. And I know I've been talking for quite some time now. So I would like to maybe stop there and see if we have any questions at the moment, which I can then take before I ask Dennis to come on board and do a short presentation on what you have at the back end. So feel free to ask me any questions that you might have. Okay, is there anything coming up on the chat?
None on the chat. I don't know if maybe anyone would want to voice a question.
Okay. So I possibly will ask my colleague, Dennis, to just do a 10-minute presentation on the back end. Dennis, you can stop my sharing because my computer seems to have hung. Is Dennis on the call?
Thank you, Vicky.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Dennis Ligar. I'm a digital learning strategist at Profile International. I kindly someone confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, Dennis, we can see it.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Liz. So I'll take a few minutes of your time to just show you a few things from the backside about what Vicky talked about. As you can see on screen, we'll take a look first at the design and administrate, then look at the analysis section just to see how we measure and report how CrossKnowledge has the ability to kind of enable you to measure, understand, and report the training programs effectively. So what you see is from the back side we have a design at the design and administrate section is where we now design the training program, where you have now to design the training program themselves. You can manage and administrate learners, also manage learning resources, and also manage the discussions. So the training programs typically, as an overview, before we try to look at it, you can see it shows specific data points, like it tells you the kind of the number of active learners at the particular moment. Then it tells you the active sessions you have. It tells you how many active learning resource training courses you have. Active training courses means these are particular courses that learners are enrolled in and they're actively pursuing them. So in this case, it's like 183 courses. Then it tells you active learning resources. Active learning resources are things like a video, a survey, a questionnaire, a document to download, or a document to fill, a learning experience to go through. Then it shows you like active connections. Then it breaks down like the training. It breaks down the training time distribution. Tells you of all the training, the top training programs that you have on your platform, what are the time distributions around it. You can see that the highest one is Genos that has taken 1,156 hours and 51 minutes, followed by other training sources that are 943 hours. Then it breaks each one of them that are actively related. So then you can know, this is my top, like for instance, you can know, this is my top performing training progress and the likes. Then it also tells you the sessions that are ending soon, so you can know how to kind of react to it. Then you have like platform activity. So it tells you, you can filter, but here it tells you the entire of January 2026. This is how sessions are performing. These are the platform activity. These are the emails that were sent. These are the unique connections. And this is the total time spent. This is the average time spent. Then you can now see learning resources, top learning resources, and top languages, and all that. That is just the kind of overview that you can have. Yeah, but because we are the design section, we'll take a look at simple things like how this is how we designed like an active training program. And Vicky mentioned around a few I think you guys remember the screen, or Vicky talking about the various components and the ways we designed the training program. So we have there are three elements for it: the content activities, the social activities, and the evaluation activities. Yeah, content activities are things like interactive learning resource. We talked about them. That can be a document to download, a questionnaire, a video, a website, and etc. And those are like the learning resources that you can link from. Then of course you have something like an tutorial. It's just a tutorial page to present the training course, a new concept, an author. Like a typical example of a tutorial can be when you're introducing like something like explaining about how saying more information about a facilitator, or maybe when you're highlighting the module or session or the program objectives. That'll be a good way for you to use like an editorial. An embedded web resource, this is something that helps you to embed an external resource. So you have a resource like a blog post or a YouTube video or a Medium link or a blog post on an external website, but you can't just copy it because of copyright issues, and even some websites don't allow that. So you have the ability to embed that external resource from whatever it is and bring it on CrossKnowledge, and now learners have the ability to kind of access it from there. The social activities are meant to increase they are meant to increase the increase and foster the learning experience. A part of it is like a classroom activity. A classroom activity is basically an activity related to face-to-face or virtual event. So you can have like a cohort-based program or a blended X program where people go to the platform to learn. Then once in a while, either once in a week or once in 2 weeks, they join like a virtual session. As Vicky mentioned around some sort of integration, we're able to integrate things like Zoom link and Microsoft Teams. Then the learners can kind of access it. Or you can have a hybrid training program where learners go on the platform, they learn, then you meet for physical session. So you can create a classroom activity that you use to award points and like mark the attendance for those who attended the physical session and the likes. A similar thing for open question is just like a question that allows learners to share ideas, reply, like and share replies with others. Just like in a normal classroom where a teacher would ask a question about a subject issue, about a topical issue, then learners will present that it's also the similar case. Then a poll to let learners share their opinions or preferences on a given topic. So ask a question and have few responses there, and the learner is able to kind of respond to it. Then evaluation and implementation activities. This is how we measure and test the understanding training program. So you can offer an assignment. This is an individual evaluation work to be submitted to the facilitator. So you offer an assignment, like say you're teaching a class about a CV or something, then yeah, someone will do an assignment and upload it in whatever, either a Word document or a PDF document. Then you as the facilitator on that particular end, you can kind of receive it. A quiz typically is to evaluate learners' knowledge on one or more topics. And the good thing about the quizzes in CrossKnowledge is that they are pre-marked already. So while designing them, it's a multiple MCQs, multiple choice quizzes. So you put the answers in advance and the learner chooses. So when the learner finishes the last question, automatically they see the results. And so unlike an assignment, you don't have to go grading or marking as a facilitator. Then measure your progress as an activity where learners measure their progress on specific questions. I think you guys have seen this before, where you answer specific questions, then you answer specific questions as time goes by. Then they measure like a kind of a progress in terms of how you're doing, some sort of an adaptive learning. Then you have an assessment to evaluate learner skills, behaviors, abilities, or commit to a process. The good thing about this assessment is that it can be requested by a learner. So let's say you are doing a training program around giving and receiving effective feedback in the workplace. So you want to see whether the learners have learned some few things here and there. So a learner can request an assessment either from the manager or from the supervisor or whoever it is. Then they have to go to respond to specific questions in that process, and then the manager can evaluate whether there's something you have learned. And this is just a way to measure whether learning has been achieved or not. Then an action plan, an activity where learners come up with an action plan for implementing what they have learned. In the same example, we can use like giving and receiving effective feedback or conflict management and whatever it is. So you have learned through some specific action that you need to do for you to become better at managing or solving conflicts, or for you to become better at giving effective feedback. Now you create an action plan on how and when you're going to implement whatever you have learned. Then the final one, end of course survey. You'll always have an end of course survey to make sure that learners can give you feedback on progress and feedback on the training program, so that you're able to measure and improve and know whether the program is meeting expectations, or the program is meeting expectations, or you have few things to improve. And also it gives a chance to collect the NPS score and know, yeah, that my learners are able to recommend this particular training program to other people, or what are the improvements we kind of need like to make. Yeah, that's the key thing. I think that's the key thing we do go through one doing to create like training process. Everything else is the same. The learners here is where you can either search for training programs, you can search for a training session, and you can create a training course itself, and you can import or manage catalog. Manage catalog is all the training programs you have in the backend. Then you have the learner section, the same thing. You can search for a learner. You're able to create a learner and administrate learners in terms of groups and everything. And again, the same thing for a training resource. You can manage or add or manage the training resources like available. The key thing we want to look at the data and reporting, which is key in learning and development. You cannot improve a training program. You cannot know the impact of a training program. You cannot know whether it's doing well or bad. You cannot know whether you need to improve or is it relevant if you don't if you don't have the ability for you to kind of measure and measure and interpret the data that you have. So the background for CrossKnowledge is more robust, and it's so granular, it narrows into specific data points. As you can see from overview here, the first thing you realize is the activity period. You can see the activity period here. This is from 1st of January 2025 to yesterday. Actually to yesterday. So you can filter. I can change this data to a week, a year, a month, 2 months, 3 months. So I can be able to kind of change that. So it gives overview. Like the overview first, that's learners. It shows you the accounts, then enabled accounts, connected learners, active learners, time spent. It tells you an average time spent of 1,877 for that duration. Then the average is 9.83 hours. Then it breaks down the learners into things like connection. It tells you last year. You can see the last year here. Then you can see there is some sort of connected learners. Then you can be able to navigate from each. You can be able to navigate from each data point and make decisions around it. The same thing in terms of active learners. Then you can see the average there. Then it tells you new learners and the period. Then it shows you the learning activities. Remember, we said it's from January 2025 to January 2026. So it shows you it's showing you the learner's activity, and then you can see in the year of May, in the month of May 2025, the learners the time spent was around 708 hours. This is where I had the highest number of hours. Then you can now such decisions you are able to be able to make decisions around it at an organizational level. The same thing, you can also analyze learning materials. Let's say you gave out a questionnaire, a video, a survey, a document to download. You're able to analyze those and know how this how they're doing. For instance, you can see a top 5 training courses by time. It shows you the name of the training courses and by time spent. Then it shows you top 5 training resources by time. It tells you whether it's a video, or then you can know, when I administer videos perform better, or when I administer surveys perform better, or documents download, learners download documents. Then you can make that kind of decisions to as you improve for the training program. And just like the previous section, you can now that one's overview. Now you can narrow to a specific detail that you want. You can narrow to either training material. You can search a resources and the training resources. You can now search a learner. Let's say you want to know what sessions a learner has been in, what have they been doing on, how many certificates they have earned. You have a chance to kind of just search a learner, click a learner and search a specific learner by their name and see everything they have been through since time. You can also do things for the same for for results. You can see things like learning channels overview, the learning channels Vicky was talking about that you created. You can see the overview of the learning channels, see learning activities and tracking, and even track learning resource tracking. Then discussions, you can see leaderboards. How many leaderboards have learners? How many leaderboards do I have? Who's leading on the leaderboard? How many recent discussions do I kind of have? And how can I even moderate them at a particular level, either at a cohort level or at an individual level? And of course, there's an aspect of administrators where you can now, this is the back end, so you can see all the administrators that you have on the platform, their rights and what exactly they're involved in. Then gamification, an aspect of a dashboard where gamification, where you're able to see like a dashboard. You can see for instance, there's a typical example of that of a dashboard. In gamification, you can see who's the highest leading points and how are they doing, and then you can see distribution of points. You can see the more points for this from these people came from this particular training program, and these are the badges that people have earned. You can see passionate as 6 learners, Moko as 30, marathon runners 28. Those are things you're able to kind of see from the back end and kind of help you kind of make those kind of decisions. Yeah, I don't know if there is any question. I think we have 4 minutes before the top of the hour. I will return the session back to Vicky if there's nothing I've skipped. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dennis. I do believe that we have a more detailed presentation should you want to understand more about the system. And all this data can be exported on Excel, can be exported into Power BI. If you integrate with your HRIS system, you can also get to understand it from there. And what we want to do from the back end is not just analyze the number of hours. We want to know, of course, what times do guys connect, for the learning cultures, what are the self-paced things that people are looking at more. So we really want to use all this information that we have available to us to make strategic decisions about how we're going to create an enabling learning culture through our digital learning platform. So the whole goal and what we believe at CrossKnowledge is that learning, as we all know here as professionals, is a long journey, and which we must first approach as we need to be the ones that are aware that learners will not learn until we create some form of environment, no matter how small, that they can engage back in. And so with CrossKnowledge, what we're trying to do is to give you the tools and the platform to do exactly that. So again, I invite any questions that you might have. I also invite you to call on us and we can have a specific presentation done just for you about our digital learning platform. And of course, if you can refer us to others who might need this platform, we would be ever so grateful to you, and we can have a separate conversation on that. So I'll give a few minutes for questions before we bow out. We have contacts on the chat. Thank you very much, Eda. It was fantastic to host you, and to everyone else, Mercy, Wamboi, Udias, John, Dorothy. We have DMM. We have Caroline, Dorito, Peter. We have Victoria, my namesake, and then of course Juliana, Francis, and Janet. Thank you so much for coming through, and I wish you a lovely evening, and I'm really looking forward to connecting further after this webinar. We'll be sending out just a short recording, and of course waiting for your responses. Asanteni sana, have a lovely evening. I'll just put some music again. I told you found me on a Whitney Houston frenzy as you exit at your own pleasure. Thank you very much.